The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. My name is Susan Reardon, and I'm the staff hearing officer, and I call the meeting of Wednesday, July 1st to order. First on our agenda is preliminary matters, and under that is requests for continuances, withdrawals, postponements, or addition of X agenda items. And I've had no requests for any of those, so we will hear the one item on the agenda today. Under number B, which is announcements and appeals, I have no announcements and we've had no recent appeals. So then we'll move on to comments from members of the public pertaining to items not on today's agenda. Is there anyone out there who would like to address the staff hearing officer? The directions are on the screen. Ellen?
Susie, we currently don't have any members of the public attending the webinar, so I'll hand it back over.
Okay, great, thank you. So that closes the preliminary matters. So we'll move on to the project, which is a site at 216 Santa Rosa Place. If Christina, if you wanted to click on your webcam and provide the staff presentation.
And Christina, you're still muted.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Ellen, also. Good morning. Timmy, would you mind pulling up the site plan on sheet 2? Thank you. And if you can zoom in to the, yeah, perfect. So good morning. The project we have before you today is for a new 614 square foot accessory dwelling unit above an existing garage attached to an approximately 1,500 square foot garage. And you can see in the site plan, the hatched parts above the garage that's the new ADU. So it goes above the existing garage and also a little bit above the existing residence. The ADU is proposed under state law and is conforming to zoning setbacks. So the scope of review for the modification is not directly related to the ADU, but rather for the associated upper story deck as a result of the ADU. The existing 2-car garage is non-conforming to the 20-foot required front setback. That encroaches between 2 and 4 feet. The proposed deck on the top of the existing garage does not project beyond the existing garage. The applicant is proposing an upper story deck on the south or the street side of the residence. Timmy, can we advance to sheet 7 to show an elevation of what that looks like, please? Thank you. You can see on the upper story here, we have the railing, which leads us to believe there's a deck there. Thank you. So that's actually what we're talking about for this modification. This type of alteration is not an allowed provision in the non-conforming ordinance, which is why we're here today. The applicant is here today in front of the staff hearing officer. The applicant did study a deck on the west and the north side of the ADU, but both of those locations were overlooking their neighbors and were found to not be suitable to maintain privacy between neighbors. The neighbor on the west side has a similar deck on top of their garage overlooking the street. Additionally, this upper story deck overlooking the public street will allow some private outdoor living space for the occupants of the ADU. The Single Family Design Board reviewed the project in April and had favorable comments on the design of the project. As far as environmental review, the project has been found categorically exempt. Staff is supportive of the proposed front setback modification to allow the proposed deck to be located above the existing non-conforming garage because it provides the occupants of the ADU some outdoor living space, does not project beyond the existing garage, therefore sort of making the non-conforming sort of even worse, and is consistent with existing development in the neighborhood. This concludes my presentation on the project. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Christina. I don't have any questions right now. So if the applicant would like to click on their webcam and unmute themselves and then give their name for the record and then provide any additional comments.
Hi, it's Ann Tozier and Joe Blummer. We're the owners. I've lived for many years, actually. I have no comments. I would defer to our architect, Bob Clammer, who is present.
Okay,
So-
great, thank you.
Hi, Bob Clammer, project architect for Bob Kubiak and Ann and Joe Tozier Blummer. I think Christina really hit it on the nail head with her explanation, so I won't be redundant. With just the only addition to show maybe sheet or PDF number 4 out of 14, it gives you a little bit of a neighborhood context with the photos. And the top photo is our client's property. You can see the garage there where the ADU will be set back to the 20-foot setback, and the deck will be set right on top of that garage. And if you look to the left of that, the neighbor's house has basically the same thing that we're proposing to do. You can see even better a side view of their house in the middle picture. Yeah, you can see it there too. And also there. So we're basically in context with the neighborhood. There are 4 other pictures if we want to get into it that show similar decks basically stretching across the front of their whole house within 3-block radius of this property. So I think we're within the context of the neighborhood. Also, our client canvassed the neighborhood and shared plans and explained what we're doing and got support from 9 of the neighbors. And there's a signature sheet and a map of the neighborhood. I don't know if we can pull those up. There's the letter to the neighbors and basically explains, and there's the signatures of everybody that supported it. And then there's a map of that as well. And all the green lots are in support of it. The one lot directly behind them didn't have time to review the plans, so we didn't get a yay or a nay. They're to the north of the property, whereas the deck is at the south of, yes, right there. And even if we didn't build the ADU, the neighbors behind them wouldn't see it because the ridge line of the existing house would screen it. So it really becomes a non-issue. And then there's the 2 properties that are asterisk and they were not home, but they're not contiguous to the site anyway. If you need to see the other pictures, happy to show them, but I think we're really within the neighborhood context, and that's it. Any questions?
Okay, great, thank you. No, I don't have any questions right now. I'd like to move to the public hearing part, public comment. I would like to note that I did receive one email from Jim Field, who's opposed to any encroachments into the setbacks. He feels or stated that the lots in this area are too small to support the encroachment. And also he was not supportive of the idea of ADUs. In regards to the comment on the ADUs, that authority to deny them has been taken away by the state. So the only issue before me today, like what Christina said, was the front yard encroachment of that 2nd-story deck. So with that, Ellen, is there anybody who'd like to?
Susie, once again, we have a quiet webinar today, so I'm going to hand it back over to you to continue.
Okay, great, thank you. And I'll ask Christina and Mary, did we receive any other public comments since I received this email last night?
I have not received any additional comments.
This is
Okay.
Mary. That was the only email we received. Thank you.
Okay, all right, great, thanks. So I'll close the public hearing and I'll just move on to my discussion. I did do the site visit and went out and looked at the neighborhood. And I agree with staff's analysis in terms of there is other decks, especially the one immediately to the left, or to, I guess, the west, it's the left on the screen. That is similar in terms of this requested encroachment. And I appreciate the provision that the applicant provided in terms of having the living area not encroach into the front setback, that it's just an outside deck. And also appreciate the thought process that you gave into the location of this outdoor area for the occupants of the ADU, and that it provides less impact to your neighbors. If it was provided any other, on any other elevation of the ADU, it would potentially cause some conflicts between the neighbors in terms of you're elevated and you'd be looking into their private areas. So I appreciate the thought process that went into the location of this design. I also appreciate the fact that you are respecting the interior setbacks with a second story addition. That's also appreciated because those have the potential to cause some kind of privacy concerns with your neighbors. So in regards to the actual findings, I think I can find that this requested deck is an appropriate improvement and consistent with our zoning ordinance. It does allow for some private outdoor space for the residents to enjoy. And it is atop an existing non-conforming portion of a building that currently encroaches into the front setbacks. In regards to conditions of approval, staff wasn't proposing any condition of approval, and I don't need to add any conditions of approval to ensure that this project it remains consistent with the zoning ordinance. And so with that, I can make the findings that are outlined in the staff report and approve your project. My action is appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 calendar days. And they also have oversight authority of all my actions. And if they felt this warranted additional discussion before them, they could call it up during that same 10-day appeal period. And if either of those would occur, Christina would contact you. Okay?
Great.
All
That's
right.
it.
And so, yep. And with that, that was the only item on our agenda. I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
very much.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Christina, too.